Thanks for staying with us. First up, members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum have hit the picket lines again, demanding payment of all their outstanding coupons and principals. The group says it will picket the Ministry of Finance every working day until further notice. Dr. Edwanani Entry is convener of the forum and says members are struggling to survive due to the current economic conditions. The pensioners are asking government to borrow from the treasury market to pay them. Listen to Dr. Nani Entry speak earlier to AM show host Benjamin Akapo.
Just as we were there until the exemption was granted us. Once we started, we will be there until the payments are made.
I see. No matter how long it takes?
No matter how long.
So if this extends into a year, are you telling me that your members are willing to keep picketing?
Yes.
If it turns out that the funds are simply not available to make payments to your group, what then happens? Are you going to still continue picketing?
I think I have advised. I've said that government can borrow from the treasury bill market and pay us.
You want government to borrow from the treasury bill market to pay you?
Bill market and pay us, yes, because government is borrowing from the same treasury bill market to pay people who are holding the treasury bills when it matures.
The country is in dire economic straits. We're going to the IMF. You want further borrowing, especially when government has been asked to tone down, tame itself when it comes to borrowing?
This is life and death. And you recall that the president once said, if you can't bring the debt from back, but you can bring the economy back. If you don't pay these pensioners, they will die because they cannot get their medication. You can't bring them back. So just as the government, the president said, take a treasury bill and pay these pensioners so that they will not die. Let the economy, our debts rise a little. We can bring it back. We can bring the life of the dead back.
Joining us is James Aveji was at the Ministry of Finance to interact with the pensioners. Here's his report.
On the 6th of February, that fateful Monday, these old citizens came to the Finance Ministry here in Accra to picket. Their message was that they want to be exempted from the then ongoing domestic debt exchange program, where government was calling on the local creditors to sign on to some new agreements that the pensioner bondholders mentioned that they do not want to join. They called that government actually gave a window for those creditors who do not want to sign on to the new terms can self-exempt, where the pensioner bondholders indicated that they do not want to self-exempt, but they want the government to pronounce them exempted. And so from that Monday, they have been picketing at the Finance Ministry. On Friday, actually, we had the former Chief Justice join them on that protest. It continued into another week of long protests, where on Thursday, which was the 16th of February, the Finance Minister on a second occasion met them and promised to exempt them as they wish. And so they took the 17th of February, which was a Friday's protest, to Parliament, when the Finance Minister met Parliament to brief Parliament on how far it has gone on the then arrangement to a domestic debt exchange program. And so that is how far they have come. And then later we saw a document from the Finance Ministry assuring them that they have been exempted by government from the domestic debt exchange program. The expectation was that after that announcement, government would go ahead to pay them their matured coupons as well as the matured principals of some of them who have got theirs matured. But the indication we have is that from that 17th of February to today we are talking, government has not honored its obligation. And so the reason why they have resumed here today to picket the Finance Minister. I'll be speaking with Dr. Edwanani Entry, to pick some thoughts from him on the arrangement so far and what exactly they intend to do. But here is a retired police officer who has traveled all the way, I'm told, from the Volta region to join them here for today's protest. We can pick some thoughts from him on why. Tell us about tell us who you are and why you have decided to come all the way from the Volta. You told me you are a retired police officer.
Yes, please. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm a retired police chief inspector, a pensioner. And in fact, after I retired, by God's grace, I was able to put something down where I will lay my head before I retired. So when I retired, I had a small thing, and I decided to invest it so that I can be using it for other projects which I've planned to do, and to the same time using it for my medical care. As I'm speaking now, I've been referred to Ho to even undergo some medical check-up. And because of money issued, I've not gone yet. And I'm having 2 bonds with Ghana Commercial Bank, precisely Sugakope branch. And on the 17th April, a coupon is supposed to be paid for a coupon. And as I'm standing here, or we are gathering here together with my colleagues, today, 8th May, I have another what? Coupon.
Maturing.
Yes, to be paid today on the 8th May. And in fact, it's very painful for a police officer serving this country for almost 35 years. And the little I had for that my stewardship, and to be what? Taken by the government, in fact, it's very disastrous. Some of us will never tolerate this. And if they continue to do it, their descendants and ascendants will be suffer.
The pensioners are back to the finance ministry picketing, calling on government. The first phase of this was demand for total exemption from the domestic debt exchange program, which they have gotten. But the failure of government to honor its obligation has brought them back to the finance ministry here.
James Aveji with that report from the Ministry of Finance. Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, Professor William Supra, joins us on Zoom with a reaction to this. Good afternoon to you, or good morning to you from here. What do you make of the pensioners' demand the government borrows from the treasury market to pay their matured coupons and principals?
Good afternoon, Darrell, and good morning from my side, and good afternoon to your viewers. This situation is very unfortunate because we know that government gave an assurance to these pensioners that when their coupons become due with principal, they will make plans to make the payment. It's coming out that I'm sure government is having these liquidity challenges, and that is what is making government struggling to make the payment. I mean, the suggestion by the pensioners is valid. Government can decide to swap some of these coupon payments or the principal payments and factor them into the treasury bill demands and find a way to make payments to them, especially the coupon portion of the loan, those which are due. If government cannot even pay the principal, the coupon payment can be planned into the cash flow demands from the treasury bill side and be paying them. At least that will slow down the pressure. If you listen to the pensioners, all that they are requiring or requesting government to do is to give them some cash so that they'll be able to take care of their medical needs. I mean, we are all human beings, and we have to be very, very much aware that once you get to this age and you cannot work, you only depend on a stable income. Bond market is noted to give some kind of fixed income. So the coupon payment is what they rely on. So I'll advise government to have. I think they have the team. I've heard your report that there's oversubscriptions coming from the treasury base side. Can they, and they know the figures, about 500 million, can they structure in the coupon payment to only focus on paying the coupons to bring down the pressure? And then they start to communicate with the pension fund holders that we are getting closer, finishing the deal with IMF to give us space so that we're able to pay the principals when they are due. So that is what is really needed: a communication and also a strategy to pay the coupons as they are due.
All right. I don't know if I've heard government react to this suggestion from the pensioners, but I'm sure it is giving it a careful thought. What would be the implications if they were to borrow from the treasury markets to pay the pensioners? And is there any other option they could look at?
I mean, we've already mentioned that can government decide to forego some kind of expenditures to support or make the payments to the pension fund to these pensioners. There are some expenditures which government can do away with or can postpone, or even not even expenditures, some capital investment projects which government can, if the payments are not due now but they have the funds, government can rely on them to be able to pay these pensioners. It's very critical. If government decides to use the treasury bill market to support them, we know the implication is going to increase the debt burden of government, which is prolonging into the future. However, to be able to solve the current need and meet the pensioners their requirement, they need to get some money to buy their drugs. I'm not sure some of these pensioners what they receive from their social security will be able to take them home or find a maintenance, but they will coupon payment is what probably will be able to help them. So one government should maybe move some funds from some capital investment to pay and then pay the capital projects in the future, or stop some of their current expenditure items to pay these pensioners. And it's needed. We all get to this age. Today it is them. The following day it will be some of us. So this is something that if I were to sit in the Ministry of Finance, I'll pay much attention to it to find ways to get money for them. Even if it means government suspending some major payments or even getting money from other agencies to come and pay them. Talk to Tamayo, how do you call it? The oil industries, extracting industries. To bring us some to be able to pay them. We need to focus on that. GMPC sits on some cash. Can we go there? When they needed 100 million, we had the finance minister. We loaned them $100 million to do some transactions. Can we ask them to bring us some money to be able to settle these pensioners? The pensioners' issues must be treated with all agency. The president must make sure that he is already a pensioner, though he is a president. So he's in that age. He should think that if it were to be him, only living on these coupon payment and principal payment, what would he do?
All right.
I understand the chief of staff is also a pensioner, so it's getting closer.
Okay.
These are sentiments, and somebody must really think about them. It doesn't matter. My last option would be that, can we talk to Bank of Ghana if you have not signed the MOU of this overdraft, how do you call it, overdraft facility? Talk to Bank of Ghana to help a little bit, because life is at stake now and it's becoming very critical.